Well, this is a nice big shafting for the Marvels. So the IMAX CEO has revealed that The Marvels, the Disney film, will not receive any specialty screens because, and I quote, "We are committed to Dune." That's right. They know where the money is. They've signed deals. They know where the money is, and it's not with the Marvels. Now, this is just another sign that the weight and power that Disney once held is waning massively, in fact. Make no mistake, this is a huge blow to the Marvel's potential profit line. It's not to say that it won't turn a profit, but is it damning? Yeah, it's pretty bad. You got to remember that IMAX takes quite a large sum of money, a significant sum of money. It's specialty screens. It's high value, high value. It's actually why Tom Cruise was not best impressed that Oppenheimer took the IMAX screens from Mission Impossible. So Disney won't be very happy about this, unequivocally so. But the important thing to mention here is that we don't know if Warner Brothers, or Legendary should I say, is going to delay Dune Part 2. Because it might do. So we'll see. Hit subscribe if you're new here, folks. I hope you're all well. I hope you're having a great day. Better than my day anyway. Fuel pump's gone in my car. Anyway, let's move on. So this is a huge issue for Marvel as a whole and their cinematic universe. So IMAX has confirmed that barring any further delays to either film, the Marvels will not be played on any of the company's high-resolution projectors due to a previous screening commitment made to Warner Brothers Discovery's Dune Part 2. So yeah, no. At all. Done. So word of IMAX's allegiance to Arrakis over the Kree was first made public on July 26th during the company's Quarter 2 2023 earnings call, referencing a recent report from Variety, which claimed that Warner Brothers Discovery may seek to push Dune Part 2 from its current November 3rd release date due to the current ongoing WGA writer's strike. Wells Fargo securities analyst Omar Majias inquired with the IMAX CEO Richard Gelfond, "What's the likelihood of this happening? And if so, what other options are you considering for the replacement for the Dune slot?" So, yeah, a lot of companies are going to be delaying content because they just don't have anything. They haven't forward planned a huge strike, basically. So, there is multiple reports and rumours that a lot of companies, a lot of studios will just be delaying stuff. And this is off the back end of that. So, in turn, the CEO of IMAX said, "There's another great movie coming out around in time, which is The Marvels from Marvel. And we can't play it because we're committed to Dune. So Dune moves, that slot will just go over to The Marvels, and having a Marvel movie as a backup is not the worst position to be in the world. But in terms of Dune, my own opinion is that it's highly unlikely to move, and it's an educated opinion, meaning I spent a lot of time on the facts." I like that. It's an opinion, but it's educated, meaning I'm not a dumbass and I actually looked over everything. So it's unlikely that they're going to move it. And it's unlikely that they're going to move it because Legendary probably don't want them to. It's not Warner Brothers' decision. It's actually Legendary's decision because Legendary made the film. Warner Brothers just distribute it. But in terms of who put up the most money, yeah, Legendary did. So continuing in his attempt to reassure Majias and the others in attendance that a further delay was not in the cards for Dune Part 2, Gelfond recalled, "Dune is already in the midst of a marketing campaign. There are trailers out. There's lots of materials out. They had a big presentation, a lot of the conference. As a matter of fact, Denis Villeneuve presented the film at the IMAX CEO Forum. So it's kind of out of the gate. So if you put it back in the gate, you've got to duplicate those expenses at some time in the future of putting it out of the gate." Basically, what we've been saying for a long time is that marketing costs are staggeringly high. And if they look to delay a movie, yeah, you've got to add additional marketing costs. And it's the death of a movie at that point because it's too much. It's just too much money. You just can't really do it. And especially when you've got marketing costs of upwards of $100+ million, why would you want to replicate that time and time again? You're not going to want to. You can't just keep building hype. The hype train isn't endless. So, yeah, makes a lot of sense. But they say this. In addition, Dune has a very long runtime in IMAX, Up to 5 or 6 weeks, the CEO revealed. And it just was fortuitous that there was no other conflicting projects. But if Warner Brothers Discovery were to move that to next year and sometime, it's highly unlikely that Dune would have that amount of runtime. So another reason why they're not going to want to. But it is funny that they even say, there were no conflicting projects. Basically saying, we never even looked at having the Marvels in there. Genuinely. They didn't even consider it. And just to remind you, IMAX was about 20% of the growth of Dune Part 1. And I know there's a lot of marketing plan on Dune Part 2. If they move Dune Part 2, there's a carrying cost. Call it 10% or whatever it is. So, how are they going to make up for that cost across the other incremental costs? The IMAX release is a really important element to their release plan. And look at this. This in IMAX. Fucking just absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait for this movie. So when I look at it from Warner Brothers Discovery's point of view, and Legendary's, from a dollars and cents per numbers perspective, it just doesn't make any sense to me that they would move it. The only reason they would move it is they'd say the actors' strike is going on and they want to get a premiere and put it on The Tonight Show or wherever they put the actors, but with no disrespect to Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet. Basically they're done. They're not going to. So the CEO proceeded and says, are you going to be able to make up for losing the 6 weeks IMAX release? Are you going to be made up the cost of capital and carrying it for a year? Are you going to move it to an uncertain year where you have no idea what's going to be put against you when they have virtually no competition right now in the marketplace? It doesn't really make any sense. Again, another slam dunk for the Marvels because they're like, you're not competition. When you look at the other movies, I think that's one of the most compelling not to move. But you could go through all of them and the same logic kind of applies. So I've talked to the distributor, that Warner Brothers, but they don't know where that article can go in the press. They've certainly told me that article is not true. So all I can do is give you my logical perspective on it, but I feel quite strongly that it's not going to move. And I doubt it's going to. Why would you move it? Like, let's get real here. But it is funny, So in light of Gelfond's confidence towards June release date, it seems Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, Kamala Khan will be left to drift through space solely on standard theatrical screens. There'll be like no money there, basically. There's a significant portion of change that will be missed for the Marvels. And that makes perfect sense. Like, why would you move Dune Part 2 versus the Marvels? You just wouldn't. And they've already got that commitment. They don't see the Marvels as competition for Dune Part 2. Quite rightly so. Dune Part 2 is much more adult. Marvels is much more child and feminine focused. Whereas I think Dune should appeal to multiple generations and also age ranges and genders, So, yeah, funny. It is a blow to the Marvels, though, and it will see a significant chunk of potential profits just down the drain because, IMAX takes quite a lot. I mean, they even note here it was basically 10% of, is it 10 or 20% of what the initial movie made. That's quite a lot. That is quite a lot. It was 20% of the growth of Dune Part 1. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that the Marvels will now be missing out on. So anyway, let me know what you think down below. Thought this was funny. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.